Well, I shot a buck in Marsville just to watch him die. But I hear him so blowing, hang my head and I cry. All right, I tried to get back on. Sorry I had to break there. I was outside and my battery on the computer. Grace, can you turn off that kitchen light? It's got a glare in the background. But anytime I unplug the power, the battery's dead in the laptop. So when I unplug the power, well, I don't know what to do about it. I just have to get the glare off of that front light. But unplug the power, the PC goes dead. So, but it's getting dark outside, so I had to switch to inside. So I'll see if I can get. I don't know if that helped the lighting any better or not. Anyhow, I was back. Hello, Sam Landrum. Glad you love watching the channel, man. Thanks, 351. Yeah, I was come back in. My lighting and all ain't so good in here, but in the front room and come back in to chat with y'all some. But yeah, Sam Landrum, usually over in next to the end of February, around the 1st of March, or through the middle of March. I didn't get to do it so much last year, but I'll go over there when them shad start running up through St. Stephen's, and I love to go over there and catch them shad. I only eat one or two a year, but I'll go over there and catch a few, eat one or two, and I'll put the others in the freezer and save them for catfish bait. But I used to go to Monk's Corner there and put in the boat and go up just before you get to the dam, anchor out, and throw out and catch the shad there. That's fun when you're catching them shad. But I was talking before about the 28 nozzler, and I didn't know they even know it because I still on the old calibers, but I think it's 2015, 2018. But they come out with a 26 nozzle before then, a fast speed bullet, and then they come out with a 28 nozzler. But then while I was reading on the 28 nozzler, but now it's got a heck of a kick up there too. It's pushing up there close to the 300 Win Mag kick. But it's way outdoing the 300 Win Mag. As far as speed and a flat trajectory and all of that. But the complaint that what I hear from a lot of the people that what I read up under the pages is finding the bullets or the ammunition to use at the places you go to go hunting. They say that's the problem at what they have and the price. They say they're outrageous. And another thing is what they call blowing out the bore. The bore of your rifle where the bullet goes into the bore when you push it. If you're using a bolt action, you push the chamber forward and lock it down. When that bullet goes up in that bore, it's kind of hard to explain, but try to explain it to you in the way that I see it. You got that powder sitting in that casing. Well, when that bore comes down to a smaller diameter, it's when it ignites, it's building up pressure. Well, the smaller, it's like a water hose. If you go from a bigger water hose down to a smaller water hose, you can build up pressure. Well, when you do that with something that's got fire behind it, that pressure's got to go somewhere. And with that smaller bore down, if it's not coming out at a more tapered thing at the neck, then it's exploding all at one time. And from what I'm reading from a lot of other people, is that it'll blow out the bore on them rifles much quicker from what they say. That's what I read now. I mean, I ain't no expert on it or nothing, but that's one of the things, one of the drawbacks of some of the stuff that I hear on them. But they're coming out with a 27 Nosler. Next year, they're thinking in February. And it's could be the caliber of the 270, but it's got have a lot of powder behind it to have hits souped up. So your bullets are getting faster and faster to get my range and stuff out of it. Striped bass, Travis P. Striped bass bite is on fire on Lake Murray right now. You need to come up and give it a try. Travis, I have to get up with you. That's one thing I ain't never caught with striped bass. My dad used to catch them here in Black River years ago, but they called them trolling. And I think it was over in February and March, same time Shad was running. But they knew where to troll from. But I was such a young boy. I was only 3 when my dad passed that I didn't ever get to do none of that with him. But I see pictures of my mom had from when my dad was young, from the 40s and 50s, with him holding up some of the stripers and stuff. And what he'd had from back then, he called on what they called a devil horse. And he'd run also the jigger pole and hit along the banks and catch bass and rockfish and stuff on the jigger pole with a devil horse or a pawpaw. Yeah, like I say, yes, Sam, I stripers I had never caught, but I got to get together with some of y'all guys over there near Moncks Corner and stuff and do some of that stuff. Yeah, Travis P. The river gets down here. I don't know if you like to do winter bottom fishing or lead lining, straight lining. It's called a lot of different things around here, but it's where you get off in them deep holes in the wintertime when it's cold and drop it down. And with the earthworm, catch the brim, and especially I call them mallmouth, but warmouth or what they are. They get down in them deep holes, but you can also pick up a few crappie. But the wintertime, that's what we do here, or even throw out for catfish. But just got to catch the water right. It's been a rough year this year, man, with all the rain and stuff. And Black River don't have a dam on it, so it don't have no way to govern the water. All the water that we get upstate and all that has to come down through Black River and drain out till it gets into the tide water here down from my house. And then the tide water has to take it out so much at the time as the tide's going out. Say, Carlos, how you doing? Chris Cannon, let's go catch some spots. Chris, I ain't never saltwater fish too much. Me and my brothers went out there a few times. We caught a few croakers and stuff, but the wifey, she loves saltwater fish. Anytime somebody says something about something to do with saltwater, it catches her attention if she don't hear nothing else. But she loves saltwater fish. She's in the Philippines. I guess a lot of y'all know. She loves fish. Yeah, Travis PJ, just when the river get down, give me a holler. Sometime or another, I got to get up with Mr. Sam. Me and him got to get together and go down there. Mr. Bill Royals, he sent me some stuff a while back. I got to get down there and fish with him some. He's supposed to, I think he lives in Texas, but he comes to South Carolina every so often. He sent me a lot of stuff to fish with and to try out and everything. And I definitely got to take him on a fishing trip and put him on some fish. And don't know how many of you seen that video, but surprised me. Lexington's I'm trying to think. I am 2 hours from Columbia. So from I'm not sure. I know Lexington, but I can't remember what place Lexington is. But anyhow, 2 hours is 2 hours from my house to Columbia.
Yes.
The nettle spin, the beetle spin. Yeah, the beetle spin. As y'all can tell, I love the beetle spin. That beetle I learned when I was 12 or 13 years old. Started fishing with it a lot. I used to throw, and I don't even have one in the tackle box now, but I have one similar. But I see they still sell them at Walmart. I'll get one day buy it so I can show y'all. I started off throwing the black one with the yellow stripes, and it had the forked tail on it. And that's what I started off throwing. I was 12 or 13 years old. My brother being in the front fishing the brim buster with crickets. And I started throwing a bit, and then I caught just a few fish, and a couple of mudfish had hit it and tried to take that thing from me. And then I bought some later on. I bought some different colored ones, and we'd be down there fishing. I'd just be playing around as a young boy, and then I started kind of learning how to throw that thing and to fish it. And over the years, I'd got to where I could fish that beetle spin. And if y'all ever noticed that white one with the red dot is one of my all-time go back to beetles. When I can't get them to do nothing on nothing else, no other kind of color or nothing. Sometimes they'll hit anything. Sometimes they want a certain color. But when all else fails, a lot of time I go back to that white beetle with the red dot. Y'all probably noticed that from a lot of my videos, and it helps me finish up a lot of time my videos to get something done. But it's according to the fish, the time of the day, whether they want to hit. Sometimes you can reel it fast as you want to reel it, and they'll catch it. And sometimes they just sluggish, don't want to do nothing, and you have to reel it slow to just let it pass by them to try to even get a strike on it. But some of those days, you probably could do just as well with the cricket or the earthworm on the days that they don't want to chase anything. Oh, that's all right, Chris. I got some of my keys on my laptop here. Sometimes hit a spell 2 letters when I only punched it once. Sometimes it'll miss the letter. And sometimes I just get agitated and say, bump it, leave it spelled. They know what I meant. But I understand that. Yeah, the white one with the red spot. Yeah, that's the one I love, Chris. Kill Eric, I killed 3 bucks so far, 2 8s and a 7. And I'm holding out on my other 2 tags, trying to wait for some much bigger bucks. Um, I got my 2 restricted tags left, and I'm trying to save them up and trying to wait on something that's real big bucks, trophy bucks, wall hangers. That's the thing. Nice bucks I've seen similar, not quite as big as the ones that what I've took, the 3 that I've took, but I've seen similar in the last week or so. But I may take a couple of nice bucks at the first of the year, and then I'll start trophy hunting. I just the last tags or so, I'll be looking for trophy bucks. But the reason I took the last buck, I'd had some requests to make a shot on camera, and so the opportunity, well, it presented itself before then, but so I think it's the same buck, and I let him go. But then when he presented himself again on what was it, Saturday, I went ahead and I decided to go ahead and take the shot so that I'd have something to show to the subscribers and viewers that keep up with the channel. But now I got to hold off on them last 2 tags and try to get a nice trophy buck. But that's the thing. For years, I've let 6s, 7s, and sometimes them bucks that I've taken have been nice bucks. But on some, if you look at some of the videos, you'll see that I have let some nice bucks go. And I'm trying to hope that at least some of them bucks makes it through to the next year to get to be your trophy bucks. But now, if I was to go out there and I was to use all my tags on 4 and 5 and 6 points, I would be killing out my next year's generation. That's the nice 7s and 8s and all that. And I'll stand a slimmer chance of me getting that trophy buck to make it through. Because where I hunt, there's a lot of pressures. People all around me shoot. A lot of time I let the bucks go, and they get over there, I don't know, 800 yards sometime to cross the property line or into a field over there. And I'll be letting, and you can see which way the buck's, kind of heading toward. And then you hear bam. Well, you see, I let that buck go and somebody over there, but they don't get all of them. And some of them, they get through a lot, and they grow up to be bigger bucks. I mean, Chris, I do my best to video my hunts. I mean, a lot of time I get try to get it when the deer's out or whatever, because most of the time the deer, I think what people want to see. But I try to do a part of it to keep people interested. I don't want them to get bored with the videos, so I try to pick up whenever I'm looking at the deer or whatever, or the deer's coming out, and that's the parts of it I try to show you on the videos. Travis, I hear a lot of I hear a lot about that 6.5 Creedmoor. It's a flat shooting rifle. Um, they say that my nephew's daughter shoots one, and I mean it's easy on her. And they say that like the 7mm 08, it's got a lot of energy, but once you get out past 500 yards, then it takes over what the 7mm 08 is doing, because the bullet is longer, so it's more stable in flight, and it's cutting the wind better. So say the 7mm 08, maybe ahead of it, and got it beat up to 500 yards. And then after then, I'm not sure, maybe 6 or 7. But then the Creedmoor starts taking over. But the thing where I run into reasoning on that is how many hunters make over a 300-yard shot. That's where, and I want that punch up to 300 or 350 yards, because most time I try not to shoot no further than that, and I only make them shots if the wind conditions and weather conditions permit. And up to 300, 350 yards, a lot of them rifles have got that Creedmoor beat. But now, after you get on out that longer ranges, then's when the Creedmoor starts coming back. That's say Spec Hunter Outdoors and guys. So yeah, man, glad you tuned in. Yeah, that 7mm mile is a great deer gun. I got an 8mm Mauser in the closet in there, but the barrel is wore out on hit. Saying it's not accurate. So I bought it years ago, and the guy who sold it to me at a cheap price. Then after I got it, I shot it, and you couldn't hit the backside of a barn with it. And then I got to looking. I didn't check the barrel when I bought, and the grooves were wore out in the barrel. It had been shot so much. No, Travis P. I never hunted with a muzzle loader. Hi, McState. How you doing? Jeffrey Cole, you shoot the break open 243. Yeah, I had never seen the break open, but I mean I've seen them before on videos and stuff. But yeah, yeah, I got the Spec Hunter. I got the 8mm for like $75. This was back in the '90s, and the guy, he had bought it from somebody else, and he wanted to get rid of it, and I didn't check it. I didn't look in the barrel or anything. I just saw it was, a military issue old rifle, and I didn't check. But then after I got it, then I got and tried to shoot it some, and I couldn't hit nothing with it, even at 50 steps. It would shoot all over the place at 50 steps. And I shot it a few times, and after then I looked in the barrel, and shucks, all the grooves were going out the barrel. That thing had been shot so much. I guess it wore out back in when it was in service. But now that 303 that I got, that 303 British, now it's still accurate. That's the one that handed down from my dad. Um, the Travis P. I used the Bushnell banner, dusk and dawn. It it dawn, it'll lighten everything up, and then after dusk, it'll kind of keep stuff bright for a while after the sun's gone down and everything. If you can see something with your eye, a lot of times you can look at it through the scope and you can tell if it's got horns or not. Yeah, I have a 30-06 too. That's what I shot the 303 for years with no scope on it. Y'all may have seen the 303 video I did, Lee Enfield. And I shot it back when I was a teenager. And I don't know, I guess around 20 years old or so. That was the first thing I bought was a 30-06. I still have it. And then I shot the 30-06 for years. And after then, I went to the 300 mag. And Once I had kids, then I bought the 243 youth model for the kids. But that 243 is easy to shoot now. I shoot it all day. But the 7mm 08, it's same case and everything as the 243. It's just the caliber or diameter is just with the lead part just a little bit bigger. So it gives a little bit more spread and a little bit heavier lead that give it more punch. 243 can outspeed it, but you know, when you get the weight behind something, you know, you got that punch once you get off at a distance. Here, come talk to a minute. I got to step here for a minute. Come over. Let y'all holler at Nadine here for a minute.
Say hi. Just juice because we're going to the bathroom. Say hi. Hi guys. Hi guys. It's commercial for a while. You sing A B C D H I J K L M N O P Q R S U V W X Y and Z. Now I know my ABC.
You finished?
Get it. Come and let's sing with me. Yay! Did you say bye, guys?
Nah, she took over there for a minute for me.
What happened?
Oh, she's had a fit now.
You went on the street.
Yeah, Jeffrey Coes, man, it's muggy here in South Carolina. We had a few days there during the weekend. It felt okay. Nights would get down to 50 something, and early morning hunting be good, and then it would heat up mid 70s. But now it's back in the 80s during the day here, and only the mid 60s at night. But it's muggy, and them bucks have already put on their winter coats, and it's just like us out there wearing a coat trying to work in the heat. I mean, so you can imagine how they feel. You got to think of yourself like you think of a deer.
What you got? What you got?
Speck said, hello, little Missy. Kid loves attention. Yeah, I took her. I don't know if y'all seen the video. I took her fishing there with me there that one day, and man, she had a ball. She was so hot though, and I kept having to get in the shade. She had a ball down there, and her mom is looked at the video and seen how hot she was, and her mom wouldn't let her go back with me until it cools off. Maybe this river will get right here directly. You get down there. I'll get down there, and I've been wanting to get out there and do some fishing videos, but it ain't because of me. It's because of the river. I mean, it just ain't right yet. But it's starting to drop, though. I went across going to town today, and I can see it starting to show a little bit of the bank now, starting to come out the woods. Yeah, Spec, she'll be ready for that 243 in a few more years. That's the youth model too. Got the 20-inch barrel on it. I bought it where it was short and light, or you know, a small statured person could, you know, handle it easy. But I like to use it sometime too now. But when I take it, I don't plan on, you know, making. But my brother, he used it. He got a couple of bucks. He shot 300 yards mounted on his wall, you know, before he passed away, and he'd make it stretch out there. And I told him, I said, man, you don't hit them bucks right at that far, you know, hit them just right. I said, well, light a bullet, because I'd always got to hunt the grain for it, the heavier bullet. And he said, hey, that thing's putting it right where I'm shooting at. I said, well, that's why I went and got the 7mm 08. We're out there once you got, up to 300 yards, something to give them a little bit more impact. Spec hunter. Yeah, glad the fishing and all is doing good there. They probably biting at the lakes and stuff here, but that's like over an hour drive here from where I am for me to get to the lakes. So right now I'm trying to, concentrate more on deer hunting right now. But if the water ever get right, I'm right here in Black River. I run right down at the river and do some, fishing down there, make some videos and stuff. Hey Grace, what does B nod mean?
What?
B nod. Yeah. I don't know.
Binod. I don't know it's Binod.
Well, Laura, we don't know what that word means. My wife's from the Philippines, but I don't know what language it is. She don't recognize it, so it can't be Tagalog or Visaya. Yeah, Spec. That's kind of same way it is here. Um, I live about a mile from the river, but I live in what they call the Low Country, South Carolina. So it's a lot of swamps, and even though the river is, kind of like a mile or two away from me, all these swamps drain into Black River. So it's like living in a swampy area. It's almost like living in Louisiana, or some of them places. I mean, no, Laura, I don't do crossbows. I had never messed with the crossbows or anything. Some of my buddies used the bow and arrows, but I had never got into bow and arrow hunting. But some of them love the bow, but they have to get so high up in the tree and all that to control their scent, because they want the deer coming right down pretty much under the tree or near the tree, because they don't want to make over 35, 40-yard shot. 35, well, 40 at the most. 35 is good, and then less than 35 is perfect. So, but they say it's more of a challenge to take a deer with the bow. But I told them it's my age is too much of a challenge for me to try to get up the tree stand and climb up there. And then I get up there and I says, I ain't got no engine in me that I know of. I said, I'm more like John Wayne. I said, give me a rifle or something to put in my hand where I can reach out there and touch something. I have a quarter-acre pond. I feed and give nothing but the best. Quarter of the pond, quarter of a pound is gill is normal. Well, yeah, you got a nice pond there, Jeffrey. We're getting ready to put the hounds on the ground down here. Buckshot gonna start flying. Hey, Spec, I missed them dog hunting days, man. That's what I started off at. We doing that up until the 80s. We had to learn how to tree stand hunt and stuff. That's where I started. Start off a little 20 gauge single barrel, turning them dogs loose early in the morning and until they uh, got tough on the dog hunting around here. That's the only thing we done. Then we had to learn how to tree stand. But I tell you right now, you can kill a whole lot more deer tree standing than you can run them. Bucks. You can kill a whole lot more bucks tree standing than you can run them with dogs. When you run them with dogs, them deer know what's going on. They know what time it is. And they know that you waiting on them roads and stuff for them. I've had them come up there. You hear them stop beside that road. Some of them turn around and go back. Some of them, if they knowed you was there, when they made up their mind, when he come across that road, it'd be just as fast as if you had time to throw your safety off, you was doing good. Because he knows when them dogs is on him, or back then they did. Now the ones that's out there probably wouldn't know what's going on. But back then, but I up my tree, bucks come out there. If you can get where your wind and everything's right, and he ain't never smelt you in the area, and he ain't in no opening, he come out there. And he got his mind on them does or something, or on his path. He ain't looking for what's going on. He don't know what happened. Oh, yeah, Laura. And I hear you got up around Tennessee. I know parts of North Carolina, but I think a lot of the parts of Tennessee have lots of bear and stuff too, right? Yes, Spec. Well, my brother shot for years before he got a semi-auto. He went from a 16 gauge single barrel, and I think the double barrels of Stevens that he had also, and it called for 2 3/4 shells. But for years he shot 3 inch Magnum in it, and he calling for 2 3/4. But the stock, it got where it was splitting the stock that where he had hooked to the gun, and so he backed off from shooting the 3 inch Magnum and went to shooting the 2 3/4 in it. But it called for 2 3/4, but you can put 3 inch Magnums in there, shoot the 3 inch Magnums in it. If you step off in the woods, you can surprise a lot of them in there that don't know you're in there. Then they'll run them trails and stuff up and down them swamps or sloughs or paths, and a lot of them. But it got to where at the end of us dog hunting, there got to be so many people, young people, would run off in the woods out there and try to cut the person off that was standing down on the road on the stand down from them. It would be an older person that couldn't get out there and do that, that they shoot the deer out there in front of them. So then we had to come up with a rule that everybody stay on the roads and stay out the woods, and it was getting dangerous. And then we started coming up with you had to wear orange hats or something of something reflective to where it could be seen. But for years, the older people would kept the club, hunt it, and maintain the club. But the younger people that would join would run out there and try to cut them off, shoot the deer in front of them if they figured they could get on the path out there. So that's one thing that was happening with dog hunting, and then the older generation was getting, frustrated with it. So that was one thing went on with that. But yeah, them deer, you can go out there if you know where the runs was in the woods, and a lot of times they just come and run them down. But when they get close to that road, most of them stop and they smell and listen and check that road good before they decide they're going to cross it with them dogs coming. And some of them, I've heard the bucks come up there and stop and wait till them dogs get right on their tails before they decide they could cross that road. And when they cross, hard as they could run. Wow, Lars, Lar, Jana. Yeah, I went many a year around here. Time my little boy had never seen a bear. I heard tell of bears running, but in the last 20 years, not even out at the hunting club. I got them, like I was saying earlier when I first started the video. Uh, I got the my trail cam here, and I must be got 300 or 400 pictures of bears. A lot of time it's the same 3 bears, but it was 2 bears would stay together, and they about the same size. I don't know if it was a female and her older cub or what, but they were kind of short, stocky, fat. But the one of them, he's a long-legged bow, a boar, whatever you want to call him, and he'd come there and he'd lay down on top of my corn pile. And I've seen him walking down the road coming up next to my stand before. And when he was long and tall, and I know he was a boar because I could see when he turned the other way, the camera get a good plain picture of him. But the other morning I was going hunting and there was a small bear. This and that weighed probably 180, maybe 200 pounds. He was a small bear. It was in the highway about a mile from the house here while I was on the way to the club. It was still dark before daylight in the mornings, and he hit the woods. But he was a little small, short bear, so he was young. Are they building a lot down there in South Carolina? Um, Over near Myrtle Beach and Conway, from what I hear, they're taking up lots of the forestry to make room for developments and houses and stuff. And this is just hearsay, but from what I hear, people are claiming that's what's pushing the bears and stuff back over, looking for further back inland near where I live, and even further for the animals looking for habitat, like like the bears and stuff to live in. And they say that's why we're seeing more bears in the area. That's what the word is now. I don't know. But I know that they're doing lots of more development, and a lot of the forestry stuff are selling to developers, and they going in and developing what used to be forest land, clearing, putting up housing and stuff. And that's what people are claiming are driving the bears back further and further, and they're looking for places to go. And that's what I hear. Yeah, and the wall hogs, we have a problem with them out there now. So far, they're not on my side of the club that we hunt, but on the other side, my nephew and his wife, they steady shooting them over there. And they'll shoot them, and then a week or two later, they'll see more. So they'll shoot 1 or 2 of them. And it's like that every year. It seems like every year it's getting where they're killing more and more. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know, it's getting to be so much housing and development. I mean, people got to have a place to live, but the animals have got to have somewhere to go. So if you see them in the yards in your neighborhoods or something, it's because there's getting to be less and less places for them to stay at. And it's just pushing more and more of them that they got to go somewhere, and some of them lose their way, wander off course or something, get caught up in town, and then can't find their way out, and they start running down neighborhoods. Yeah, there's so much. I mean, there's so much going on there. Like here where my house is, um, I was 30 years old. You wouldn't have never seen a deer in this branch or nothing around here where I live at. Now, I plant a garden out there. They come out, they be standing up and eat yard out there eating my garden up. But I think one thing to do with that is also the coyote pressure on the deer. And I think the deer, I don't know about the bears, I think it's because of maybe because of the destruction of, habitat and forestry and cutting and developing. But the deer, I think a lot of them are moving into neighborhoods and stuff with, patches of woods and things to get away from the coyotes. Because years ago, you didn't have no deer and stuff living in here where I'm at. But now the deer is packed in here between where we live in these houses and the patches of woods that's near here. And I think that the deer are doing that at places to get away from the coyotes because the coyote situation is getting out of hand here in South Carolina. The coyotes and stuff is what they're seeing a lot of now in the towns and stuff running through towns. I'm from Andrews near Georgetown. Yeah, I think the coyote situation getting out of hand everywhere, but here in South Carolina, I ain't never seen the coyotes like they everywhere. I can go outside at night here in my house, and I'm out in the country, but we have houses ever so far apart. But you can hear the coyotes back in them woods and stuff just howling. Sometimes you see them morning times run through the yards. Now I think it's putting a big hurting on the deer because it used to be nearly every doe you seen, there would be two or three does together, either a doe and a yearling or a doe and two yearlings. This year, I've noticed that I'm seeing does that ain't with other does or don't have a yearling with them. And I know it ain't from them being um, barren or anything. Something happened to their yearling or something happened to the other does that they hung out with. Because usually it's unusual to see just a doe by herself. Very seldom do you see that. Does usually either travel in two or three of the group, or a doe and a couple of yearlings, or two does and two yearlings, or something like that. Does don't usually travel just one doe. Yeah, Matt, them coyotes, man, they something else. Tiger cat. I'm from southeast Louisiana, and we got coyote problem. I tell you, I think it's pretty much the whole southern part of the country and the southeast anymore with the coyotes. Um, where it used to be a western problem, I think it's spread all over. This little one here ain't tired and sleepy yet. She's still running. Now you need to go to sleep. Well, yeah, whatever. Yeah, tiger cat. They sometimes sometimes I used to trap them years ago. When they first started getting around here, they get the fox pins and stuff. They pay you so much that you can spend more money in the bait and stuff and your gas and stuff trying to trap them than you can catch them. I can promise you that. And if you miss one, it makes him smarter. We was using the rubber jaws. If one trap missed him, he would outsmart that trap next time. He would go there. He could know where that ground was the softest at. He'd go there and he knew where hit was at. I've seen him dig up under and dig trap up, never throw the trap. Set 2 traps at one place where he be paying more attention, the other one would get him. And that joker would get out of both of them. After then, you wouldn't hardly ever catch him. I went there and 2 traps would be dug up, laying on top of the ground, and him be ate all the food. They get smart. Anytime you miss him, it makes him smarter. And some of the bigger ones will pull out the traps if you don't have a strong enough trap to hold him. But the size of some of the traps that the state lets you use won't hold the bigger coyotes. That's the thing. They make you use a certain trap. You ain't catch all of them. Some of them gonna get away. But back in the day, we had something of it that would hold him. If he got his toe in there, he would tear the toe off before he came out of it. But it's not allowed by the state or anything. But that was some of the traps that back before you had, that daddy had. My daddy, this was back in the 40s and 50s. You can't use them now since they come out with laws and stuff like that. But back in daddy's day, you didn't even have a deer season here. My mom, she's 90. She did used to not be a deer season. You just didn't have to have a hunting license. Back then, you raised and depend what you ate or the meat that you ate, you went out and hunted. That's the way you got it. But there wasn't a whole lot of deer, she said, back then. And back when I hunted, we used to have trail dogs. You turn a trail dog loose on the trail. If you thought it was a buck track, he would trail that track sometime an hour or two. Now, once he jumped that deer, then you turn the running dogs loose to that trail dog. Now there's so many deer, you got a lot of foxhounds. They're running fox pens. You just pull up to some place, turn the whole box loose and let them run through the woods. Because once they get across that ditch, ain't no telling what kind of deer track they could get on. So you don't need a trail dog or anything anymore. Yeah, yeah, Laura, I've been to North Carolina several times. A lot of times we used to take vacation and go up around Maggie Valley and Cherokee and stuff up there. Go up there and take vacation, hang around up there in the Smoky Mountains. Especially during August, it'd be so hot down here in August. We go up there and nighttime, cool up there in the mountains at night. Be down in the 60s and stuff. Up there, and we're here, it'd be 80 degrees sometime during August at night. Well, YouTube, I've been on the it's been on the inside here probably close to an hour. I think I'm gonna get off of here for a while and try to get out there maybe the weekend and get some type of video, deer hunt video or something for you. get something put on here. I appreciate the ones of you that watch, keep up with the channel. And till we get to see you the next time, say so long. Catch you later. Appreciate you watching.